Okay, so London is by far one of the most busiest cities I've ever visited, which makes getting around London and knowing what to do quite a difficult task. In this video, I'm going to be providing my tips and advice in a London travel guide video. Now, if you've not seen my Paris travel guide video, go and check it out. There will be a link on screen right now and in the description. But in this one, we're going to be discussing London transport, how to get around, the best activities, and a few other tips. But let's just jump straight into the video. Okay, so we're starting off with transport and getting around London. Now, if you are arriving from within the UK, you're probably going to arrive at London Euston via the train. And basically, if you do that, then it's pretty easy for you. You just get off the train and you head to the back of London Euston Station. So when you see the boards, you head to the back of that, and that's where the tube is located. You go down 2 escalators, I believe, maybe just 1, and then all of the tickets and information and a lot of staff are around to help you out. So that is a very, very simple one. However, if you are arriving by air, basically if you're arriving at an airport, then there's a few other things that you need to be aware of. If you're arriving at Gatwick Airport, then you can get the Gatwick Express to Victoria, which takes about 30 minutes. I'm not too sure on the price of that, but I do think it will be pretty pricey. In terms of Heathrow, you can get the Heathrow Express, which takes 15 to 20 minutes. The only downside is it is pricey, but you do have an alternative at Heathrow. You can get the Victoria Line tube, so that literally goes right out to Heathrow if you are taking off from Heathrow, and if you land at Heathrow, it does actually bring you straight into London Centre. Now, another airport is Stansted. Now, there is a Stansted Express, but that takes between 35 and 47 minutes. I'm not entirely sure on the price, so if you are landing at Stansted, be sure to check that out. The City Airport, I believe it's called London City Airport. There's a DLR tube line which runs straight through that, so that's your best option. And if you land at Luton Airport, there's a shuttle bus that takes you to Luton Airport Parkway train station, and then you get the East Midlands train to central London, which I'm guessing will drop you off at London Euston. So they are the airports. I have missed one airport out and I can't remember the name of it, but that was because not many flights do land there, apparently, from what I've read. Now let's move on to the tube system. There's 11 lines with 270 stations, so you can imagine it's pretty busy. And one fact I learned is it mainly covers north, east and west London, and not many lines actually go south. Now, one of the big things, I'm going to link down the tube website, TfL website, but one of the big things is it actually suggests that if you're within zones 1 to 2, it's actually probably quicker to walk by the time you go down the escalators, get on the train, wait for a train. It's actually quicker to walk if you're exploring things within zones 1 to 2, so bear that in mind. And as I said, all information is on the TfL website. And just like I said in my Paris travel guides, as I said, if you've not seen that, go and check it out, because some of the tips will cover this video as well. But use maps on your phone to get around for the quickest routes. And one big tip is sometimes using the bus can actually be quicker if you've got to get numerous trains. Sometimes there's a bus that can take you directly to a place, and you can use your Oyster card on the bus as well. It's the exact same system. You just tap it on when you get on a bus. And why not ride on a double-decker red bus, just like obviously everyone associates with London. But let's move on to some daytime activities. So I've separated them into daytime and nighttime, like in the Paris video, and there's quite a lot of activities here. Now, the first few I'm going to go through, I'll mention them all, but just so you're aware, I'll tell you when this cuts off. But all of these activities I'm about to mention are actually within walking distance, so obviously if you want to box them off one at a time, it's a very, very good thing to do. Now, Buckingham Palace is obviously one of the biggest activities to go and see, and I believe you can actually do a tour of Buckingham Palace during the summer. However, one of the cool things that you do want to actually go and see is changing of the guards, which is basically where all the guards that protect Buckingham Palace change around. And that's at 11 AM on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday that you can see that. So if you are in London on any of them days, be sure to go and check that out at 11 AM at Buckingham Palace. Now, Westminster Abbey, Big Ben and the London Eye are incredibly close together. Westminster Abbey, I believe you can do tours. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I would believe so. And when I was there, I did see big groups of people with what looked like to be tour guides. I wasn't interested in that. I just wanted the picture. But obviously, do your research if there is tours and if that's something that interests you. Big Ben is an interesting one. When I went, there was a lot of scaffolding around Big Ben because it is currently under maintenance, and apparently, I don't know how true this is, but apparently it's under maintenance for another 3 years till 2021, which is absolutely crazy. So the classic picture of Big Ben is not actually possible right now because there is scaffolding entirely around it, but obviously you can go and see it and just say at least you've seen it, and obviously that includes the Houses of Parliament. Moving on to the next activity, which is the London Eye. Now I've got a bit of a tip for you with the London Eye. Don't go on it, just go and get a picture of it. It's pricey at approximately £27 per person, and here's my tip. The Shard, you can go up the Shard, and that's cheaper and it's much better because you go much higher. You get much better views of all of London. You can literally see the entire London skyline. It's absolutely insane. I obviously done that. Go and check out my London travel film if you haven't already, and you can see all the stuff I'm talking about. And obviously the final few things, which are obviously all within walking distance, is Downing Street. You can't actually see much clearly due to security reasons, but you can at least go and have a look at Downing Street and get a picture of maybe the sign, the street sign, which is actually up on the walls. And then another thing is Oxford Street and Covent Garden shopping. Now, obviously shopping isn't essential if you are purely there to experience the city, because you can kind of spend quite a lot of money, especially on Oxford Street. But at least go and see the place, and if you are only going to see the place, then change this to a nighttime activity, because all of the lights makes these two places look much nicer at nighttime. So if you aren't planning on spending anything, just go overnight and it looks a lot nicer for you guys. And as I said, all of the above that I've just mentioned are within walking distance. We're going to move on to 4 more activities. Go and see Wembley, obviously the national stadium for the football team. Tours are available. I have done it in the past. I highly recommend it because actually outside the stadium you can't see much, as the area is actually surrounded by houses and is quite far out of central London. So there's no point going there just to get a picture of Wembley, because it's going to be quite a poor picture because of the housing estates that are around it. And to go all that distance just to get an awful picture, you're going to feel pretty disappointed. So go and do the tours. And as I said, I don't believe they're that expensive. I can't remember, but I believe it was around £10, which really isn't bad for the type of activities you get to do when you're in there. Now go and see the Olympic Park. That's obviously where West Ham are playing their football, so it's West Ham's football stadium right now, but the Olympic Park is quite a cool experience. I'm not too sure on tours. As I said, obviously West Ham now occupy the stadium, but one of the other things is, if you are filming where you're clearly taking video, just be careful, because the security and the staff will actually come up to you and ask whether it's for personal use or not, because they will actually try and get you to delete the footage. I believe it's probably because of image rights, but just bear that in mind. And also another activity that you can do, because it is quite far outside of central London, is visit Westfield Shopping Centre. You'll actually go through Westfield Shopping Centre to actually get to the Olympic Park, so go and check that out. It's a really cool shopping centre. Now the next 2-3 things are actually quite close. You want to go and see Tower Bridge, clearly, but actually you probably want to see that at night, so I'll come to that in a moment. But St Paul's Cathedral, Shakespeare's Globe and the Tower of London. Now the Tower of London, I'll start with that. Tours are available, but they take roughly 3.5 hours. So if you are going to do that, schedule for it. If not, just go along Tower Bridge and you can get some nice views inside the Tower of London grounds itself. So just go and get some pictures of it. Shakespeare's Globe, if you're into that, then you know you can do tours of that as well. But I believe it was quite pricey. I'm not entirely sure on that. But obviously just go and get a picture of it. Again, a lot of these things you may not want to do because of the prices. London is quite an expensive city, but to at least go and see these places is quite the experience. Now the top one for me is St Paul's Cathedral. You can go and see this and have a rooftop view of it. So you can go to St Paul's Cathedral, look entirely around it, hear the bells ringing. But if you go to one new change, if you Google that, you put it into your maps, it's a shopping centre, and there's actually a roof terrace which is right next to St Paul's Cathedral. You can go up there and you get a nice view of London and St Paul's Cathedral, and you can also see the Shard quite well. So that's something I highly recommend. Now moving on to the nighttime activities, as I said before, the Shard. Go up the Shard and go up overnight. Now I believe the price we paid was £18 for students compared to the £27 for the London Eye. As long as you go up there, you know, you can spend as long as you want up there. Go to the absolute top, as I said, for the Eiffel Tower. It's, you know, you get the best experience. Now if you're into photography or videography, book 30 minutes prior to golden hour. I made the mistake of booking on golden hour, like when it was about to start, and we didn't actually get up to the top for quite some time because of security checks and the lift. so I actually missed golden hour, which I was quite disappointed about, but booked for 30 minutes to 60 minutes before, and as I said, you can spend as much time as you want up there. Now, as I said before, visit Oxford Street, Covent Garden, Carnaby Street, Soho and Regent Street, just for the view, because why not? It's really, really nice. All the lights make the area seem so, it's just incredible. Go and check them places out. Tower Bridge, as I said before, go and visit it, but it looks much better at night because it's lit up, and obviously you can see the double-decker buses. It's really, really cool if you want to get some cinematic footage. Harrods, obviously the massive shopping centre. Go to there of night because, again, you see it all lit up with its gold lights, and it's open very, very late. So if you do want to look in there, you know, you can still do that regardless whether it's late. Now, go and visit the Royal Albert Hall as well. That's not too far from Harrods. It glows up red and / an orange kind of colour overnight, and if you get it at the right time, then you can actually get what I done, where the background, the sky is blue, and then obviously the Royal Albert Hall's orange. It makes for an insane photo and some cool video footage. The next few things are actually things that you can only do during Christmas, which is obviously when I was there. But go and visit Hyde Park's Winter Wonderland. It's basically a big theme park, and I believe there's other stuff going on there. We didn't actually go in because I'm not really too keen on theme parks, but just to go and see the place itself, it's actually quite impressive, to be fair. But one of the biggest things that I really enjoyed for Christmas time is the Christmas markets in Leicester Square. Now, obviously, it's only Christmas, but if you look around there, they're probably some of the best Christmas markets you'll ever see. And the pancake place, wow. That's all I can say about that. It is absolutely out of this world. And I'm just going to touch back on the London Eye. Go again at night because it looks cool, because it lights up red and the sky is clearer. So you can get some nice photos. And if you really, really, really want to go on the London Eye, despite the high price, go on a night because it just looks much better. Them areas surrounding, you know, with all the lights lit up, it just makes for a much better experience. Or if you want to experience both, I believe you can actually get a day and night pass. So bear that in mind. Now, a few other shout outs I want to give that are things that you would want to go and see, but I've not mentioned. So Trafalgar Square, the British Museum, the National History Museum, Kensington Palace and Kensington Gardens, the London Dungeon as well. It sounds stupid going to see something like that when you're in London, but if the weather's really bad, it's a good option because apparently it's actually one of the coolest things to do in London. I've never been, but the London Dungeon is basically right next to the London Eye. So if you are having some bad weather, maybe go on the London Eye, you know, because you're inside, you're in a pod. It's pretty cool. And then go in the London Dungeon, and apparently that's a really, really cool experience. Moving on to food. There's literally so many places in London, I couldn't even begin to start recommending any specialities. There's millions of Starbucks, Costas, Pretz, all that kind of stuff for breakfast and snacks throughout the day. Selfridges Food Hall is other place that, you know, a lot of people do like to go and visit, so go and check that out, Selfridges Food Hall. Apparently the food is absolutely insane. If you've never been to Nando's, because I do believe it is only a UK thing, go to Nando's. It's insane. It's the nicest chicken you'll ever have. It is literally just chicken, and then you pick your sides. Go and visit Nando's. The Hard Rock Cafe, I believe, is by Hyde Park. I've never been to the one in London, but I'd imagine it's pretty insane because every Hard Rock Cafe is. And if you get that experience, you get the chance to experience it, go and do it. But my favourite places were TGI Fridays in Leicester Square. Whilst the service wasn't great, the food is absolutely out of this world. And Zizzi's in Covent Garden, or Zizzi, it's basically an Italian place, and again, the food was absolutely out of this world. One of my big tips for London is book beforehand, because everywhere is absolutely busy, so you will be expected to wait quite some time, between 30 minutes and an hour. So try to book beforehand, and if not, arrive a bit earlier than you usually would want to, just to make sure that you actually get some service on time. That is all for my London travel guide. If you've got any questions at all, or you visited London, or you're currently planning on visiting London, be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you found this video useful at any point, be sure to let me know as well by slapping a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, it really does help me out a lot, and obviously go and check out my London travel film. But thank you all for watching, guys. Till next time, goodbye.